Hey, Krazy Joe here from MegaPodTastic. Uh, you know, I don't know how much of a crossover audience I have between YouTube and the podcast. Maybe there's no crossover audience. I don't know. Maybe the people who watch these YouTube videos are not the same people who are downloading and listening to the podcast. Maybe you are. I really don't know. So I always wonder how much my YouTube audience is interested in hearing about things related to podcasting, because it may not be the same audience, but I have some thoughts. I wanted to share those thoughts because they're kind of stuck up here. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Parsec Awards, but the Parsec Awards are awards for excellence in speculative fiction podcasting. And my show, MegaPodTastic, has been nominated for the Parsec Award 3 times. We're currently nominated. It's our 3rd nomination. Never have I been a finalist. I've been a semi-finalist 3 times, and they this year have not yet, as of this recording, announced who the finalists are. So I don't know if I'll be a finalist this year or not. I might not. Find out eventually, but I don't know yet. Well, up till now, the Parsec Awards Ceremony has always been held at DragonCon in Atlanta, and I attended my first DragonCon last September. I was asked by the Parsec Committee to be a presenter, and I thought it was a pretty big honor. I'm like, wow, my peers in podcasting want me to be a presenter. That's pretty awesome. And they actually asked 2 years ago, when my wife was pregnant with my daughter, Kira. She had not yet been born, but she was due right around the time of DragonCon. And as honored as I was, I had to say, hey guys, I appreciate this. I'm honored, I'm flattered, but my wife's pregnant and she's gonna be having a baby right around the time of DragonCon. I cannot pick up and go to Atlanta, but I promise you, if the offer is still good next year, I will be there next year. And the offer was still good, and I went the following year. One of the things I've loved most about podcasting is the community. There's a real community of podcasters, and I've made over the years some great friends who are fellow podcasters, and some great friends who are listeners who got in touch with me. They were listeners to the show. But throughout my time as a podcaster, I've met some wonderful people, and I think the world of all of them. Maybe not all of them, but I'm not going to name names. But basically, the podcasting community has been very, very good to me, and that sense of community is what I love most about podcasting. And never before did I feel that sense of community more than at the Parsec Awards Ceremony at DragonCon last year. Surrounded by so many of my fellow podcasters, I got to get up on a stage and present an award with my friend Brad Boyer, who hosts Pod Culture and its various Pod Culture spin-offs. It was amazing. My friend Chuck Tomasi and my friend Craig Stepp hosted the award ceremony. My friend Susie and my friend Gary are on the committee. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And it made me so hungry to experience that again that I bought my ticket for DragonCon for this year immediately following the weekend. Well, I think on Monday or Tuesday after DragonCon, the tickets for next year went on sale. I bought them right away because I wanted to be at the Parsec Award Ceremony again this year, because I craved that wonderful sense of community that I felt the one year I attended the awards. So I've really been looking forward to this year's Parsec Award Ceremony at DragonCon. Well, several months ago, a poll went out from the Parsec Award Committee. It was a vote, give your opinion, take a vote. Should the awards ceremony continue to be held at Dragon Con, or should they switch to an online streaming ceremony to allow more people all over the world to take part in the ceremony. Now, I voted in favor of staying at Dragon Con because while getting more people involved is good, I almost felt like, well, having it at a place where you're all in a room together, it made it feel more legitimate. Like, could you imagine if nobody went to the Oscars and instead they just streamed them? Like, it wouldn't seem as legitimate. Obviously, it's televised, so most of us watch it at home, but the people accepting and nominated for the awards are in that room. And, like, to not have that, it felt a little less real to me. Like, we're not really giving out, I don't know. This is just my thoughts. And also, I wanted that sense of being in the room with the people and having that feeling of community again, because I loved it so much. Well, I thought no matter what the decision is, no matter what the votes come back, they're not going to have time to put something together for this year. There's just, we were too late in the game. Dragon Con's only a few months away. People have already bought their tickets. People have already booked their flights. People have already booked their hotel rooms. So whatever happens, there's no way it's going to be this year. It'll probably take effect next year. Well, I never heard another word on the topic. I never heard what was decided, what the final vote tally was. And as I never heard another word on it, I just assumed, again, no change this year. Whatever change they make will be next year. Maybe it'll even be announced at the ceremony this year, what they're going to do for next year. Well, I just saw on the Parsec Award website that there is going to be a streaming service in November. So it is going to a streaming platform. There will be no award ceremony at Dragon Con this year. And I don't know. I hadn't heard a word about it. I don't think they posted the results on Facebook or I don't. It is on their website, but I had to look for it. It wasn't like something that was put out there as like an alert on Facebook where I said, "Oh my God, that's what was decided." So, this is fine. This is what the people voted for. This is what the people want. Give the people what they want. But I can't deny I have a real sense of disappointment that this year, because I thought at least, no matter what it comes down to, at least this year, I will get to be in the room for that ceremony. Maybe it'll be the last ceremony held at Dragon Con, but I'll be there for it. And as it turns out, I was present for the last ceremony held at Dragon Con because it was last year, but we didn't know at the time it was the last ceremony held at Dragon Con. So I picked the right year to go because I was there for the last one. But I thought that would be this year, and I thought we'd have a chance to kind of appreciate it for what it was the last time this was going to happen. And that's not the case. And I am going to Dragon Con. I got my ticket, I got my plane, I got my hotel room. Did that a long time ago, so those wheels are in motion. But now there's no Parsec Awards Ceremony, and it feels like a real loss. And I'm sad about this. I can't deny that. I am very sad about this. Democracy has spoken. If that's what the people voted for, give the people what they want. That's what it's all about, right? So, yeah, I see that, and I acknowledge that, and I think that's the right thing to do, give the people what they want. But I do wish it had been put into effect next year, just so we got that one final year in the room. Everybody at that, not everybody's there because people can't make it to Atlanta, but the people who are there in a room together. That sense of community. Dragon Con is still going to be fun. I mean, last year I was there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the awards ceremony was one small part of the weekend. It is what I went for. It's the thing that made me fly to Atlanta, but it wasn't the whole con. And I'm actually going to be there a little bit longer this year because of the hotel. To get the special rate, the Dragon Con rate, I had to make it a little bit longer, or else I wouldn't have been eligible for the Dragon Con rate. So I'm gonna have a good time, and some of my fellow podcasters, Chuck, Craig, all the people I mentioned before, well, I don't think Brad's going this year, but most of the people I mentioned before, they're going to be there. I'm going to see friends that I made last year, people who I did not know before last year, like my friend Clinton, who hosts the Comedy Forecast podcast. I didn't know him before last year, met him last year at Dragon Con, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again. My good friend Sam Roberts, who I used to do Slice of Sci-Fi with, she lives down there. I'm looking forward to seeing her. So make no mistake, this is going to be a fun time, but there is an air of disappointment about it, because I was really looking forward to this year's Parsec Awards Ceremony, and it ain't gonna be a Dragon Con. So just my thoughts on the matter. Keep on wearing those pajamas.